Welcome to Lesson 5, the final part of the WHMIS 2015 for Employers video series. In this lesson, we'll be going over what's arguably the most important piece of the WHMIS 2015 puzzle, education and training. In this final lesson, you'll learn about education or general training, workplace-specific training, and you'll also learn about some of the options that you have to achieve your training goals. Let's get started. Just as adequate training was fundamental in ensuring that WHMIS 1988 worked, the same applies for WHMIS 2015. Any employer who has potentially hazardous materials in their workplace must ensure that workers who use or may be exposed to them receive adequate training. There are two types of training: general WHMIS training and workplace-specific training. General WHMIS training is also commonly referred to as education, and the workplace-specific portion, training. Hence the terms education and training. Both education and training, or general and workplace-specific training, are extremely important and must be incorporated into your overall WHMIS training program. Topics typically covered in general WHMIS training or WHMIS education include what WHMIS is, duties and responsibilities, how chemicals enter the body, adverse health effects, labels and their required elements, pictograms, how to read material safety data sheets and safety data sheets, principles for controlling risk and general safety guidelines. Because conditions can vary significantly between workplaces, additional workplace-specific training is usually required in addition to the general WHMIS training. Workplace-specific training may include things like specific safety precautions, emergency procedures, handling and use requirements, required PPE, where to find it and how it's used, specialized policies and procedures, and the meaning of all signal words and hazard statements on labels and safety data sheets in the workplace. So in the other lessons, we talked about some options on how to train your workers on the new WHMIS 2015 elements. This, of course, was for general training or the education portion. It's important to understand that while external training providers, classroom training, and online learning can be excellent methods to provide general training or education to your workers, in a lot of cases, total training requirements will not be satisfied until the workplace-specific portion is completed. Now, this might sound daunting, but the extent of the workplace-specific training is really dependent on the circumstances that exist within your workplace. If your workers are infrequently using or working around just a few products, then the workplace-specific training will likely be less extensive. If the primary duties of your workers involve frequently handling and using multiple hazardous products, then the training will be much more extensive. It's up to you as an employer to evaluate and determine the extent of your workplace-specific training. So, what's the best approach? One of the most popular methods to meet your WHMIS 2015 training requirements is through a blended learning approach. Blended learning uses a combination of learning methods to satisfy total training requirements. An example of using a blended learning approach would be using an instructor-led live classroom training course for the general training, and then doing hands-on training at the actual work site with your employees to cover the workplace-specific training. In this case, an external trainer, safety manager, or other internal trainer could facilitate the instructor-led portion, and the supervisor of the workers could facilitate the job-specific portion, since the supervisor is likely to be the most familiar with the job tasks. In this scenario, you could use the free WHMIS 2015 training PowerPoint that you received from us for the classroom portion. Of course, our favorite blended learning approach is to use online WHMIS 2015 training by Eversafe Media for the general training or education portion, and then follow up with workplace-specific training directly on the job site. This lets employers save so much time implementing their programs and getting compliant. Our super simple but powerful online training platform virtually automates the process for you. Assigning training is super simple and can literally take you less than a minute if you use our hands-off approach using enrollment keys. Knowing who's completed their training and who hasn't is also super simple, so you won't have to worry about stragglers missing their training. As I mentioned before, workers are awarded beautiful certificates and handy wallet cards after successfully completing their course. The wallet certificates even have a space on the back where you can confirm that your workers have received workplace-specific training. One of my favorite benefits of this approach is that workers get the same consistent information every time. No more worrying if any of the topics were missed or if you forgot to include some information. Everyone gets the exact same message. Finally, using EverSafe Media's online WHMIS 2015 training will save your company money, not just because of the fact that you don't have to pull all of your workers away for classroom training, but because there are no contracts, no ongoing fees, and no hidden costs with our training. You only pay for the courses that you need, and all the awesome functionality that I've mentioned and so much more is 100% included. No more record keeping, no more wondering who missed their training, no more chasing workers to show up to classroom sessions, no more printing certificates, and no more digging through employee files to find sign-offs, exams, and proof of training. Anyway, we're just about out of time, so finally, I'd like to get you the free online course credit that I promised you at the start of the course. Remember, you can use this to take the course yourself, to check it out, to train one of your workers, however you like. All you have to do is go to www.eversafe.ca or click the button on this page that says Redeem Free WHMIS Course and register as a student. While you're filling out the registration form, just enter the enrollment key that I'll be giving you in a minute into the required field. After you click submit, you'll be taken to a student account and the WHMIS course will be available in the My Training Courses section. By the way, this is exactly how your workers could sign up, literally making the process 100% automated for you. So again, this is a student account. This is the exact, super simple, non-intrusive experience that your workers will have. A facilitator account is what you'll be using to manage all of your workers' training. You can actually sign up for one of those right now at no cost to check out how simple it is to use. And remember, if you do choose to use the enrollment key method, not only are your workers instantly granted the WHMIS 2015 course after signing up, but they're also automatically linked to your facilitator account, so it really is a true hands-off approach. Okay, here's the enrollment key for your free WHMIS 2015 online course. Okay, so we're completely out of time. I just wanted to truly thank you again for joining me in this 5-part video series on WHMIS 2015, and I wish you luck with your safety programs, productivity, and all of your endeavors. If you want to know anything else about us or have any questions or comments, come over and check us out at www.eversafe.ca and send us a message. We love getting your feedback. I also invite you to follow us on social media by checking out the links below, and it would be super awesome, and I would appreciate it very much if you share this free WHMIS 2015 program offer with your friends and colleagues. Thanks again. Until next time, have fun, be cool, live safe.